Next on Belmont Park Live, 2-year-old fillies line up in the Lynbrook. Native Dawn dominant in her debut. Try and follow up that 5 3/4 length win against 7 other rivals. In today's 8th, the meet's leading rider hops aboard Spring Folly, who shortens up in distance to try and get through her first allowance condition for Michael Dickinson. Elate was sensational in her 4-year-old debut at the Delaware Handicap. We'll look back at her performance, hear from her connections, and talk what's ahead. And Forbidden Apple winner Voodoo Song just keeps overachieving. This former claimer goes gate to wire for another stakes win on his resume on Saturday. We'll hear from Linda Rice and how many wins may be ahead at Saratoga after he had 4 last summer. Welcome to Belmont Park Live, the final show of the meet before we head upstate to Saratoga. It's presented by Claiborne Farm, 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Good to have you with us on MSG Plus, Prime Ticket, and Fox Sports San Diego. This is how we're going to close out the meet. We have the late pick 4 coming up. Greg Wolf, former New York Met, LA Dodger, Paul LaDuca, Gabby Gaudet here as well. Let's talk about that 8th race first with you, Paul. Spring Folly, near miss last time out, ran too good to lose, it seemed like, and just a real tough beat with Kendrick Carmouche. Now Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard.
Yeah, and this is a horse that's 1 for 6 lifetime with 3 second-place finishes. You're starting to worry now if she's a kind of horse that likes to settle for second. She was good last time in a 1 1/8, and she had this race won, you know, with the 3-wide sweeping move by Kendrick Carmouche, and it looked like she was home right here, Gabby, and she sort of like pulled herself up a tiny bit. You know, the other horse that did beat her swung out and had good cover.
She does have 3 second-place performances out of 6 career starts, but on form, she is the horse to beat, especially at this distance.
Meanwhile, in the Lynbrook, field of 8 will line up. 2-year-old fillies. 3 come back out of that June 14th maiden race in which Native Dawn looked pretty impressive against that group.
She absolutely did. Now, she does face other contenders that have been accomplished, but actually more so on a different surface. We'll talk more about that later. But here is Native Dawn getting the victory against the state-bred maiden special weight company. We also saw Princess Pinky finish second in here, and another filly that is way back, the gray filly, making up ground late. And She's Trouble. We'll see She's Trouble come back here today. In her debut, she dwelt, so obviously not a good start. So I would not be surprised if those other fillies turn the table on Native Dawn today.
That will be race 7. We kick off this late pick 4 on closing day of this Belmont meet with the 6th. They're a mile and a 16th on a yielding turf course. New York Breds, $40,000 maiden claiming event. Then it's the Lynbrook. 8th race is that Spring Folly race, 7 furlongs on the turf, and we'll close things out. New York Bred 25 maiden claiming group at 6 furlongs. Weather and track conditions brought to you by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. I got that out okay. Piranha on, pests gone. Sloppy on the main track. Yielding on the turf course for today's action, and this 6th race is on the turf. It's on the Widener turf course, and right now it is Joe's Smoking Gun, the 7-horse favored, who is 0 for 8 on the grass for Timothy Hills.
He is, but if you're looking to play those multi-race bets like that pick 4, I think he's a horse that you must use. He's been facing similar company and hasn't been that far off in his last 2 starts.
Time to hear from the 4th member of our crew today. That would be Maggie Wolfendale. Let's send it downstairs. This paddock report brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000.
And guys, jocks are up and horses are heading out here for race number 6. And while your current favorite, Joe's Smoking Gun, he looks as though he's in fine fettle. We'll check in with a horse who is going first off the claim, first time turf, and first time going long as well. And that is number 3 in here, American Ninja, who will be going out for Pat Reynolds and Robert Amendola. And this is a horse that George Weaver debuted on the dirt for 25. Now, you might take that as a negative because it is possible for George to debut a horse in this kind of condition, but he does look suited to it. He's a big, good-looking type that has that proverbial turf hoof that looks fit here in the paddock, and because he's got that size to him, he really shouldn't have that much trouble, as far as I can work out, getting this distance. Now, moving on to one that has run in this condition before, that's number 5, Space Captain. Last time out, he just felt as though he kind of spat it. But he was coming off a little bit of a layoff. He does look fit in here overall, and he does look good for Michelle Nevin, who does great work in here. So I think we'll see an improved effort from Space Captain second time around for the barn. Greg?
Maggie, thanks. 6-1 on Space Captain Manny Franco. He had a 3-win day yesterday, so we'll see if he can keep it going. He'll be on board that 3-year-old son of Street Sense. Get signed up, get started, play along in this Pick 4 and all the races that we bring you each and every day with a $200 new member sign-up bonus. Use the promo code LIVE to take advantage and bet at any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to NYRABets.com. How are you going to play the Pick 4, Paul?
Well, I'm going to use 4, 5, 7 in here. I do think the 2 favorites that the public has right with the 4 and the 7. I thought the 5 was very sneaky in here from Michelle Nevin. Claim from Zito, giving this horse a race from a no-chance slot from the 12-hole. I think could run today. 2, 5, 7, 8, and a toss-up in the Lynbrook. You better use the first-time starter because there's not much to go off in that race. 1, 2, I'm not going to single Spring Folly. I think PARLO can maybe get the job done. The filly by Go Sapper. Then race number 9, 4, 6, 7, and 10. Where's the Barber? What everybody wants to go to before they head up to Saratoga. Here's the horse I like going last.
Gary Barber? Ooh. Wonder Godot looking at the Alabama.
Really?
But of course, got to go in the second leg of that Canadian Triple Crown first. Post parade. We'll talk more 3-year-old filly division coming up. A monster showdown that first weekend of the meet at Saratoga. Right now, though, post parade, here's Platinum Nugget at 18-1, Regime Mirage.
Making or staying on the surface, same surface, but making that trainer switch today.
Run for Boston, Jose Lezcano, Jimmy Ryerson team up.
Sort of runs the same race each time and lays back and makes one run. That's what you'll see today, currently at 6-1.
American Ninja at 4-1, Luis Saez and Patrick Reynolds team up.
Barn change, distance change, and surface change. Maybe that leads to a wake-up today.
10, Ike for Tom Morley, drops in for a tag for the first time.
Yeah, and I thought this gelding had some good races to go to, especially 3-back and 2-back. Last time, you know, the horse just sort of got left, and they were going very, very fast. Definitely a player today.
Michelle Nevin second off the claim with Space Captain Manny Franco.
This is my pick. I think he's going to be a pace presence, and his race last out was too bad to be true given the amount of money he took. We
jump ahead to the 7 here. Joe's Smoking Gun, Dylan Davis, Timothy Hills.
I think a must-use, but he is racking up those defeats.
64-1 shot. We'll see in a moment. We're going to continue on with, here's the 8, Breathing Shadow, John Toscano Jr., Luis Reyes.
This one's 52-1, a son of heavy breathing. Really tough to get to off the first 2 performances.
52-1 there, 63-1 on the 9. Blessed Honor, 9 starts, has never hit the board.
Hasn't, but does stretch out for the first time on the turf today.
Last Chant, here's the 10, Pablo Fragoso for Edward Barker.
You know, the races, at least going long, are not awful for a horse that's a giant price at 38-1.
And 15-1 on the 12. Here's -2, Mike Luzzy for John Morrison.
This horse could be a player in here. The race 3-back wasn't bad. The race last time was a little bit deceiving and might like a little bit of give in the ground. I thought that was a long shot play.
Back to the 6, another big long shot here. Here's Man of Chrome, 7 starts, has never hit the board.
Yeah, really tough to get to. The lowest price this horse has ever been is 49-1.
And 62-1 on the 11. Dalton Brown on Scrutinize for Edmund Pringle.
Well, this is a hard one to like. He's had a firm surface. He's had a turf with a little bit of give in it. Nothing has woken him up yet.
So that's your post parade. Here's we're 5 minutes away from the race that kicks off this late pick 4, and there is the favorite. Joe's Smoking Gun, 2 starts back, had the lead late in a race on a good turf course and got caught at the end to lose by a neck.
Yeah, it was a tough beat. It really was. I mean, he did a lot of the running. Now, did they go fast? No. Was the racetrack playing fast that day? Not really. They had a little bit of rain, but still, he fought to the wire here, Gabby. And they're, what, 5, 6 lengths clear? So I thought this was a winning race. He just didn't get the job done.
I think that if he was going to win, he was going to win this day, though. He was close to the pace. He had a lot of things go his way, and I don't know. Maybe he just faces the right field here today, but he just doesn't show that will to win.
That is true. And the other part about this, does he put him on the front end, Dylan Davis? Because there is not a lot of pace in here unless one of these other horses stretching out, you know, going a distance of ground. Now, you go to the 2 horse in here, and that's a horse that's cutting back in distance, Run for Boston. I mean, does that horse run the same race each time?
6-1 on that runner. Gabby brought up a good point, though. I don't know if I've ever seen, talk about facing the right field. I can't remember seeing a race with this many 50-to-1 shots in it in a long time.
Wow, right?
Someone's got to wake up, and if they don't, then he's definitely a standout in this field.
So 5-2 on Joe's smoking gun. Meanwhile, there's a look at the 9. 59-to-1 shot, one of those many long-priced bombers in this field. Hard to make a case for many in this group, so maybe today is the day for the 7, but he's not taking a ton of, well, it's hard to make anyone too short a price in here.
He hasn't run a race on the turf or the dirt, sprinting or long, to let me at least get creative with him. You could make a case for some other long shots. I didn't see it with him.
No. No.
For more on this race,
53-to-1 last time. Yeah.
Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
I get that a lot, Paul. Joined by Paul Regan of Upland Farm here with 10 Ike. And as he always says, I wish this was after the race, which everybody does, Paul. But I promise I'll try to bring you some good luck here. But you own this mare. You bred 10 Ike yourself. Talk a little bit about the mating with Freud as well.
Two things. One was she was an unestablished mare. Freud was a very established stallion. And physically, they matched up. A lot of people want bigger mares for Freud because he's kind of compact. She was kind of a compact city zip. I just thought they'd balance. Unfortunately, they balanced too much, and he's kind of a small, compact colt, a gelding now. But overall, I'm very happy with the way he's balanced, and the competitive nature he got from Freud also can't beat that.
That they do. They'll run and run and run for you. Talk a little bit about the name. It's a little unusual, 10 Ike.
It is. There's a road in town where I live, Casanova in New York. It's a short road that goes up a hill, and in the afternoon sun is right in your way, and there's a turn on it. So it's a short, difficult road, and he's a short, difficult horse. So I thought it was a perfect match.
It truly is, Paul. Best of luck here with 10 Ike.
Thank you very much.
All right, Greg.
So 5-2 on, I think he's the logical horse. I mean, dropping it for a tag first time, there's not a lot of cases to make for a lot of others in here.
I think it's the right distance for him. It's the right class level for him. There's a lot of suspect speed in here, too. He's dropping in class. I think
repeats that race from 2 back.
Seems like
he
a perfect
wins,
spot
right?
for him. Yeah.
That's true. I mean, he's very lightly raced. Besides the 3, the 3's interesting too because, you know, they're trying something new. They claim this horse with obviously an idea of going along on the turf, but the 4's got good races, and so does the 7. On the form, on the paper, the 4 and the 7, they got it right. I think the public does, and the 4 looks like he's feeling good. Now
Meanwhile,
this horse, yeah, I mean, why not? That last race was not bad at 45-to-1. 3 back at 15-to-1 at this level. Ran a good race. I mean, that race plays here. I mean, it's not far off of the 7.
Well, you'd have to think that his last race back in June at 7 furlongs was coming in off of a layoff since November. You'd have to think that that was a race off the layoff, try to get some fitness into him and stretch him out second off the layoff because he's clearly not a turf sprinter.
Had trouble in that first turf start at Saratoga, showed a ton of improvement in that second out. Yeah, I think it's too big a price as we look at the 5 here. Space Captain, Michelle Nevin, Manny Franco. He was the hot hand yesterday with 3 wins, including both of the stakes on the card. And right now 5-1.
Manny Franco's had a good week. He's had a good meet in general. The thing that I like about this horse is his speed. If you go back to his race 2 starts back before the claim, and Michelle Nevin can definitely train speed into horses, so I was surprised to not see him show that speed out of the gate last time out. I think he could be the controlling speed in here because we were talking about the murky pace if Manny Franco gets aggressive. And on top of that, as you mentioned, Paul, earlier, he broke from the outermost post position, better posted A, to try to take that strategy.
Yeah, and I like that they don't drop him off an even effort. They're going to give him another shot. They've been training him up at Saratoga, but obviously they found a spot that they wanted to get him to. I agree. I think the 5 is dangerous in here and is going to be forwardly placed.
3-horse stepping in, American Ninja. These are strong connections. Patrick Reynolds, owner Robert Amendola. 9-2, it'll be the turf debut. Start number 2, stretching out for the first time as well. But deserving favorite in here, the 4, 10 Ike with the drop down in class. Pick 4 pool, 428,000 plus and growing. And we're just about set for a start on this final day of the meet. Let's send it upstairs for the call. The voice of horse racing's Triple Crown. Here's Larry Colmus.
Chant. Man of Chrome, the next one. Here is Scrutinize. Moving into line, and the last one to load will be -2. They're all in line. They're off. And it is Platinum Nugget and Space Captain who come out running well. And right between those two, American Ninja goes up and grabs the lead as they head to the backstretch. Then Joe Smokin' Gun, -2, Run for Boston and Scrutinize. Break of 2.5 back to Breathing Shadow, who was slow into stride early, but has moved to mid-pack ahead of 10 Ike. Blessed Honor to the outside, and then come Man of Chrome and Last Chant. The first quarter up in 24.44 seconds. Up the backstretch they go. American Ninja the leader, slightly over Space Captain. Joe Smokin' Gun is third, -2 on the outside, fourth. Platinum Nugget fifth, and 3 from the lead down on the inside. Then it's Scrutinize, followed by Breathing Shadow. Run for Boston behind them. 10 Ike on the outside is 7 lengths off the lead. Then Man of Chrome. Blessed Honor, Last Chant at the rear of the field as American Ninja goes 48.67 for the first half mile. Leads the Manak over Space Captain running into the far turn. Joe's Smokin' Gun is perched outside the top 2 in third. Platinum Nugget comes under pressure fourth. 10 Ike. 10 Ike is getting going now and moving up on the outside. Now up into fourth and closing the gap swiftly. And from the back of the pack, Last Chant is also going by horses one by one. But 10 Ike has now taken the lead on the outside. 10 Ike to the front. After 3 quarters in 114.14, and 10 Ike opens up from Joe Smokin' Gun as Last Chant is taken third on the outside down the center of the course, and then comes American Ninja in fourth. 10 Ike into the final furlong, a 3-length lead. Joe Smokin' Gun is second, then Last Chant on the outside. Run for Boston about to take fourth late. 10 Ike is long gone. 10 Ike looking good under the wire under Eric Consell, winning it by 6 lengths over Joe Smokin' Gun. A photo between Run for Boston and Last Chant for third.
10 Ike, big time move around that turn and wins absolutely going away with a drop down in class.
Yeah, this is one of those situations when you're just much the best. It's not about saving ground. It's not about anything. It's about just going around horses like everybody else is in reverse and you're not.
And I really think that this was a fair price on a horse like this. I mean, all considering the company that he was leaving, dropping in class, if I had known that we would get 2-1 on him, I think that he would have been, you know, definitely a logical horse. You knew it was all over when he was making that early move,
yes,
that he was going to win by multiple lengths.
Yeah, you could just tell. I looked at both of you guys. I go, the floor is absolutely launching. He was picking horses off one by one, and the pace was a little bit slowish. So Eric Consell thought, you know what, let's go now. And boy, did he go now. And he ended up winning by open lengths. This is 4 or 5 lengths. This is a nice little win here.
How about a 65-1 shot, I believe, in third, though, creating a little bit of value underneath. If you happen to like the top 2 choices on the board, I believe 4, 7, 10. There is a photo for show right now, but looked like Last Chant sneaking in there. We'll make it official when we come back, but 10 Ike for the Tom Morley barn. Eric Consell. There's Tom Morley. Picture time for the connections at 10 Ike. We'll be back with more prices from the start of this late pick 4 and set up the 7th right after this.
Eclipse champion Blaine notched over $4.3 million in earnings, including this historic victory over Zenyatta. Now he's making a name for himself as an internationally successful stallion. Recent top runners include multiple graded stakes winner Fault and French Classic winner Senga. In the ring, his yearlings have sold up to $350,000. Among the top sires of his crop by lifetime graded stakes horses, his 2018 stud fee offers outstanding value. Blaine, standing at Claiborne Farm. His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Belmont Park Live, 10 Ike with the win for Upland Farm. Trainer Tom Morley, Eric Consell.
Yeah, congratulations to the son of Freud and the cities at Mare Old City.
I was wrong.
What?
The 2 got third, edged last chance. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no worries. Like you said, Upland Farm, they bred this one as well. Now 1 for 6 lifetime. Yeah, it looked like the 2 got the bob on the inside of last chance for third.
I don't know why I'm so surprised that I'm usually wrong. 4-7-2-10 unofficially. Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Always pleased to be joined by my husband, the one and only Tom Morley here. And Tom, 10 Ike, a horse that does not possess much early speed, but that was some move around the turn.
Yeah, and he's actually shown this move a lot before, but in Maiden Special Weight Company, you know, they're 6 lengths further down the racetrack than here. So although he normally comes flying late and finishes 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th in a Maiden Special Weight, you know, I think Eric realized that he was traveling as well as he was. You don't want to take it away from a horse in this sort of ground. If they're going okay in it, you let them keep going.
Now, obviously, I was standing close to you in the paddock, and you had asked Eric about the ground, and he was a little concerned about it being a little soft out there.
Yeah, honestly, look, these horses never experience conditions like this. If this wasn't closing day at Belmont, we wouldn't be on the turf today. We got a lot of rain this morning. Fair play to them for leaving it on. It's very safe, but they've never experienced this. And us as trainers, you know, he's only ever run on fast ground. Today it's listed as yielding. At home, then you'd be very nervous about doing that, and so I was here today. Eric, too, had his concerns in the paddock, but he's a smaller, lighter build of horse. He had a chance of skipping through it.
Obviously, home being England, as you were referring to. And quickly yesterday, ran Carrick in the Grade 3 Kent. A good third after a bit of a trouble trip.
Yeah, Colt, who's going places. And he, look, it was a bit of a barging match in there for a lot of horses. There were several unlucky horses in there, including ours. We lost a little bit of position coming out of the chute, and then he was very keen early in the race. He was very wide on the 2nd turn, but he relaxed good for Johnny down the backside when he got him in the clear. Honestly, though, at the quarter pole, I thought he'd pulled too hard for the first 6 furlongs and then gone very wide round the turn. I didn't expect him to run on and finish 3rd, so I was a little frustrated with the trip, but there was nothing we could do about it. Hopefully a clean trip next time. He's a nice horse.
Well done with him. Well done here with 10 Ike. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
As you guys can tell, I do all my talking at work, because when you come home, Tom has the floor.
Thank you, darling.
That's why she's the best. She gets the tough interviews. Who else could have gotten that interview?
It's true. Insight.
Golden Brown, we're going to have more on that performance, have his win in the Grade 3 Kent yesterday, where, of course, Tom Morley's Carrick finished 3rd in there. 10 Ike, the win, $6.40. Joe Smoking Gun run for Boston, 2-3. As we move on, and there's that photo for 3rd.
When you missed.
Oof. That's money you're losing out on. And if you're the connection to the 10, that's a tough beat.
It is a tough beat.
Race 7. This is the Lynbrook 2-year-old fillies. 6 furlongs coming up. We talked about Native Dawn from Mark Cassidy. Impressive first time out, winning by 5 3/4 lengths. Beats Princess Pinky. And also, She's Trouble, who did not want to get out of the gate.
That was crazy. I didn't even think that She's Trouble could even finish the race, considering how far back she was coming out of the gate. But I'm interested to see what these fillies are capable of today. They have to all improve.
We'll talk much more about the Lynbrook coming up after a short timeout. Also, last year's Alabama winner, Elate. She made her 4-year-old return A memorable one in the Delaware Handicap. Impressive performance at 1.25 miles. We'll revisit that next.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NYRA Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
Bayern turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring back there in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The three of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
They went the mile in 36.
The first time by the stands, they were going a little slow. They were going 20.
They went the mile in 36 and 4. They really picked it up there, and Elate begins to pour it on. It's Elate drawing away. Sneaky Betty, Teresa Z battling for second and third, but it's going to be Elate. Billy Mott wins his third Del Cap. Jose Ortiz on board. Sneaky Betty a game second. Teresa Z third. Photo for fourth. Maybe Furiously Kissed over on Bottled Mo. It's tight.
Off an 8-month layoff, first start back, not easy to do to win at 1.25 miles, show that kind of fitness, but Bill Mott said he was confident the way she was training up at the Oklahoma training track at Saratoga. Nice job in that interview, Gabby. And Elate looked sensational in the comeback win.
You were there, and Gabby, so you take the floor.
She was just incredible yesterday. Even, you don't ever really want to compare one horse to another, but even the likes of Royal Delta, who did win the Delaware Handicap twice before for Bill Mott, she had a prep. So this filly, her ability to make this early move, which we'll see under Jose Ortiz on the backstretch, make a sustained move at 1.25 miles, first time in 8 months. This was something special yesterday.
Yeah, it really was. You had the interview with Bill, and he was talking about, listen, I got that 7-furlong drill. It was more like a race for her. And I think Jose Ortiz took a page out of Mike Smith's book. Greg and I were talking about Mike Smith made these middle moves with Abel Tasman all the time on Elate. And maybe Elate is starting to catch up a little bit to the Bob Baffert filly, but I thought she was good because the local horse at 85-1 challenged her at the top of the lane, at least the turn.
I like the fact that Jose took this race into his own hands. He recognized the slow pace, the main speed contender fell out of the gate. She obviously wasn't a pace presence, so the whole dynamics of the race changed. So this was a very smart ride by Jose, but credit to the filly and credit to Bill Mott for being able to prepare her to make this type of move be successful.
It just shows you, when he has them ready, he has them ready, and when he sends them to a grade 1, they're going to be ready to win a grade 1.
Impressive performance. Abel Tasman, Elate might be ready for a rematch. It's going to be fun to see how she moves forward off of this performance. Gabby had a chance to catch up with Jose Ortiz, who talked about making that early move in the race.
The horse outside of me, I thought he has speed, and he stumbled out of there, so I didn't know what to do, if go or take back. And then when I see him rushing up there, so I kind of take back. And I had Johnny, the other horse to beat in front of me, and Mario with Dugonil Philly in front of me. So I'm looking at them. And in the backside, I thought they were going really slow. So I decided to make a move, and I did it. Yeah, she's a really big filly, so I really want to get her on her stride on the backside before we hit the far turn. So that's what I did, and when I asked her to go, she responded very well. All the credit to Bill to have her ready. 8-9 month layoff, and great job by the whole staff. The SSR rider, groom, hard workers in Belmont, they have her ready. She was ready today.
The first time by the stands, they were going a little slow. They were going 24-1, and they wound up going 49 and change for the half. And I was a little worried that he was going to have to stay bundled up all the way down the backside, you know. And of course, he was, you know, wise enough to tip her out and let her stretch her legs a little bit down the backside and get into position where she could win the race. And it looked like she won the race, leaving the 3/8 pole. She was probably getting a little bit tired the last 70 yards, or maybe waiting on horses a little bit. I'm sure she probably would have had something left if somebody would have run up and collared her, because she's pretty game, and she's always, you know, keeps a little bit in reserve, I think. But you know, you had to be impressed with it coming off the layoff like that. I mean, anytime they can come back and win, it doesn't matter what kind of race it is. And you know, she beat a nice field of fillies and going 10 furlongs. I said afterwards that should have her fit for the next one. I'm elated. I mean, I'm elated. How about that? I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled that, you know, to see her back in form, because I have a very high regard for her. I mean, I think she's a very top filly, very, very good filly, and they're just hard to come by.
I was hoping he would catch that. That was a nice little moment right there. Elated, perfect description of how he was feeling. I know how much it means for him, too, to have those silks win on a very good horse of Adele Dilschneider, who's been one of the great ladies of racing.
Yeah, and there you see...
And Claiborne Farm.
Yeah, there you see the resume for Elate, and I think a horse that's getting better and better, and Bill is basically... He just basically said that will get her ready for her next race. So is that a prep race?
Prep for the personal ends, and yeah, they're trying to point her for that. But I will say, her coming back to the winner's circle, she was blowing pretty hard. So there's definitely, at least watching her coming back to the winner's circle, it definitely looked like she got something out of that. So I would say onwards and upwards for her next race.
How many more great treats are we going to get at Saratoga? It's going to be such a fun meet, so we're going to get to see Elate there as well. Prior to the Del Cap, the Kent Stakes, 3-year-olds on the turf. Golden Brown stepping up, just his second time on the turf with a big-time effort.
And he was not impossible in this race by any means. He had a fast race last time out. He did have a very good trip, whereas many others, including the favorite, did not.
Yeah, Patrick McBurney pulls it off again. An underrated trainer. He used to win a lot of races at Monmouth Park, an assistant under John Forbes. There was a lot of contact in this race, Greg. A ton of trouble, and we really couldn't see what happened, but Untamed Domain took the worst of it.
Yeah, Archilagos on the lead. It's going to drop back, veer toward the rail, and carried Hot Springs into the path of Untamed Domain.
And I actually did get a chance to speak to Graham Motion after this race and this morning, and he said this was so disappointing, especially when you point a horse for a specific race, and what they did, the Connections did that with him in the Kent. But happy to see him come out of the race just fine. Yeah. They're going to move forward.
Difficult to see that happen, but big effort from Golden Brown. Well done to those Connections. Patrick McBurney, ABL Stable. And a grade 3 victory for that horse, who again looks like now he has found a home on the turf, no doubt. We're 12 minutes away back here at Belmont for race 7. Coming up, it is a Lynbrook for 2-year-old fillies. Time to check in again with Maggie Wolfendale. This paddock report brought to you by Hallandale Farm, now standing Bayern for $25,000.
And here in the paddock, guys, we see a horse that is never run before taking all the money. And from my perspective, rightfully so, with number 8, Toss Up. She's the filly that they paid $230,000 for as a yearling. She is by Pioneer the Nile, who can throw some versatile type runners. And the dam was very good, a multiple stakes winner and grade 1 stakes placed going long on the dirt. She is a half to another New York bred by the name of Pause for the Cause, who was good as a 2-year-old last year. But she's going out for Rick Violet, and Rick Violet is ever dangerous with his first-time starters. He knows how to get them ready, and watching this filly's workouts on XBTV, her last, which she was by herself in that 48 and change work, the rider wasn't moving. She was doing it utterly effortlessly, and she just looked as though she was actually going slower than what she actually was with that 48 and change. And she is beautifully put together, extremely well balanced, athletic, classy acting here in the paddock as well, and dappled head to toe is just the icing on the cake. So I'm feeling strongly about this horse and the money she's taking here in her debut in a stakes race. Moving on to number 7, She's Trouble, and she was trouble in her first start for Linda Rice as she dwelt. I mean, that is the definition of a horse who dwelt at the start. Just stood there, and then she decided to break. And then she decided to run down the lane, though. She is a big, good-looking, mature filly, though today she's a little bit on edge. She's a little more wound up than what she was, for sure, in her debut. So a little concerned about that, but then again, maybe that means she's a little sharper and she'll have her act together when she goes into the starting stalls. I think there's no question that this filly can run. It's just a mental game with her now early on in her career. And then number 9 is Positively Jean, who certainly had her running shoes on first time out, which was on the turf. And actually, although she took all the money that day, I was a bit skeptical about her chances on that surface. I thought she looked more like a dirt horse, as that bottom side of her pedigree would suggest. So I'm intrigued and on the positive end of thinking that Positively Jean will like the switch to the main track here today. She is sharp on her toes and looking a picture. It actually looks as though she's bulked up a bit coming out of that debut race here for Danny Gargan.
All right, Maggie, thanks. Yeah, turf in the debut. Impressive victory, winning by 3.5 lengths, and now going to go to the dirt. Let's take a look, though, at that first start back on June 29th.
This horse was clearly live because she was bet accordingly. So she is by Midshipman out of the City Dancer mare, but as Maggie alluded to, there's a ton of dirt pedigree on the bottom side, especially dirt sprint pedigree. So who knows if this was even her right surface.
You make a good point, and here's the other part about this. The horse did not have most jurisdictions, you can't even work a 2-year-old over turf. The horse had no works over the turf, so they didn't know what kind of turf horse she was going to be, and she got bet. So what'd she get bet off? She got bet off her dirt work. So obviously she's worked well in the morning enough to warrant this spot for 100,000 now. So I think she's very dangerous, and a horse that maybe could be a turf horse, won't get dirt in her face because she's on the outside.
Here's the filly who did not want to get out of the gate in her debut. Let's put a stopwatch on this, see when the gates open, and see how long it took her to actually get out. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. You can't win like that.
And she finished 3rd. Is that crazy? I know it was a slow race overall, but a lot of the time we don't see any type of an effort from a horse like this.
They stop.
Coming out of the gate. They stop. They lose all of their confidence. And she actually is finishing willingly coming down the stretch.
No, I thought this was a great replay to show the fans, like, listen, some horses don't like the gate. She didn't really want to get out. She didn't know what really was going on. She was very green, but a lot of horses, just like humans, if you would have got out of the gate like that as a human, you would have stopped. Because you would have been like, I have no chance of winning. She showed a lot of heart that day. If she gets out of the gate today, she might be a handful.
But a lot of times with these young horses, we see those problems happen again in that second start.
It's not so bad with her. I think 2-year-olds are different. A lot of the time it has to do with immaturity. If she does it today, then yes, it's a habit.
Yeah, you're right.
But in her debut, I think that it's a lot of unknown factors. So I give them a little bit more of a pass. But I hear you, Greg.
We'll keep our eyes on her at the beginning of this race. 3-1 co-favorite in here. You can play this race, get signed up started. $200 new member sign-up bonus. Use the promo code LIVE. Go to NYRABets.com and play along. Bet any track, anytime, anywhere with NYRA Bets. Post-parade. For the Lynbrook, we start with Midnight's All Right, trained by Jason Service, owned in part by Michael Dubb. Manny Franco aboard.
She was 4th in her debut, but the blinkers go on her today, and she's coming out of a defeat behind Nana Madeline, who's actually pointed for the Schuylerville.
Icy Lady, trained and owned by Mike Gorham. Javier Castellano rides the debut win at Delaware.
And another gray in here, and she won nicely first time out. These Mission Impossible's been running well. Michael Gorham, he owns in this one as well.
Maiden Beauty, it's going to be her first start for trainer Gary Contessa. Joel Rosario rides.
She's looking a little antsy there out on the track. She is a 2-year-old by Revolutionary, though, and out of a mare who only raced once.
Native Dawn, her debut race. She beat 2 others that are lining up in this field by 5 3/4 lengths convincingly. Jose Ortiz, Mark Casse.
As she's appearing from out of the shadows. Now, this wasn't a good-looking win. You hope that she can improve off of that. She's going to have to, and there are potential opportunities for other fillies out of that race to improve.
Princess Pinky, one of the horses the Native Dawn beat. She ran second in that race for Michelle Nevin.
Yeah, she was second choice. The next filly we'll see, Into She's Trouble, was first choice, and she ran a good second. She was right there from the bell.
It was the filly who didn't want to get out of the gate in that Native Dawn race. She's Trouble. I ride Ortiz Jr. for Linda Rice.
I'm sure they've worked with her in the time being, and just in general, Linda Rice with her second-time starters, they improve.
Toss up that expensive first-timer for Rick Violet.
Yeah, I think just spotted very, very well here in a soft field and got a very, very good chance.
And the turf winner first time out, now going to the dirt for Danny Gargan, Positively Jean.
Has a good dirt pedigree, has a good wet dirt pedigree too, and she gets a sloppy sealed main track to see what she's capable of today.
She was on the lead in that win. That was on the turf with speed and aggressive rider and Kendra Carmouche will be forwardly placed again. We'll find out. She's 9-2. The Lynbrook Stakes. 2-year-old fillies who will emerge victorious. We'll find out when we come back right after this. Stay tuned.
Grade 1 winner Data Link by world-renowned sire Warfront. Data Link scored in the prestigious Grade 1 Makers 46 mile at Keeneland, then set a new course record in the Grade 2 Monmouth Stakes. His runners include stakes winner Stardoza, along with a growing list of talented young runners. At public auction, his yearlings have sold up to $200,000. Data Link, standing at Claiborne Park.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live as we are minutes away from the Lynbrook Stakes, 2-year-old New York bred fillies, and pleased to be joined by Sheila Rosenblum of Lady Sheila Stables, who will send out number 7, She's Trouble. Sheila, she was just that in her first start after dwelling at the start. Are we going to see her break sharp today?
We pray we will see her break sharp today, and we pray that she will like the mud. And they're all highly competitive today, and she's extremely talented. So this is where she belongs. But a lot has to be in our favor, and she's really got to get out of that gate well.
I was going to say, you also came up with her name. Obviously, there's a little into mischief, her sire in there, but how did you come up with She's Trouble?
We had a feeling that she could be a little bit mischievous, and she's a big, bold, beautiful 2-year-old. So she was so forward, we decided to take a chance and bring her along as quickly as she was capable of, and she's got a lot of guts, and that's a little mischievous right there. So somehow She's Trouble just seemed appropriate, and our fingers are crossed, and as we know, the betting is pretty good in her favor, and a totally maiden and a first-time starter. And we're just praying that she gets black type, and that she comes out of this soundly, and that we have a nice, beautiful, long career with her, because we think she's very talented.
She certainly looks it on the racetrack. Sheila, best of luck with She's Trouble.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Greg.
Bye.
Well, ladies, Sheila's stable. Their focus, getting more women involved in the sport, and they've had some great success. La Verdad, one of the many talented runners they have had in their stable. She's Trouble. We'll find out if she can break cleanly this afternoon. And, yeah, that's a question for everyone, too. How's everyone going to handle this off surface?
Yeah, that's going to be new. I mean, the horse that gets the front in here is going to be key. A lot of these 2-year-old fillies might not like that kickback. We'll see what happens early, because they all do possess some kind of speed, and the 9 could be dangerous on the outside.
I wouldn't be surprised if they get aggressive with the 9 for that reason that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
She's never really had this kind of mud or experience in her face, so why not go to the lead with her? She already has natural speed.
And a guy more than anybody in this jockey colony that loves to go to the front and be aggressive.
True.
Kendrick Carmouche. There's Toss Up, the first-time starter, the daughter of Pioneer of the Nile. She sold for $230,000. Keeneland September yearling sale of 2017. She opened up as one of the favorites. She has become just the slight second choice on the board. Joe Bravo in the irons. There she is, that 8 in the background. And those white and royal blue silks of Ralph Evans. Let's send it upstairs for the Lynbrook. Here's the voice of New York Racing for the call, Larry Colmus.
Positively Gene now coming up to the outside stall. Will complete the line here. Goes in. They're all in line. They're off in the Lynbrook. And Native Dawn comes out quickly for the front with Icy Lady and Midnight's All Right on the inside, flashing some early foot. Going up 2 is Maiden Beauty. Princess Pinky is close up. And then it's Positively Gene on the outside. She's Trouble and Toss Up are at the rear of the field as they make their way for the far turn in pursuit of Native Dawn. Native Dawn and Jose Ortiz ran the first quarter mile in 22.88 seconds. Midnight's All Right 3/4 of a length behind, running in second. Icy Lady is third on the inside. Princess Pinky is fourth. Toss Up is going up on the far outside with a 4-wide run around the far turn. And then comes Maiden Beauty in between horses, followed by She's Trouble on the outside. So they make their way to the top of the stretch. Midnight's All Right on the outside. Native Dawn cuts the corner, and now here comes Toss Up to the outside of them. Toss Up now ranging up alongside the front runners, drifting in a bit. It's Toss Up on the outside of Midnight's All Right, and she's got the lead, but from the back of the pack, here comes She's Trouble on the far outside, and in it too is Maiden Beauty, who now comes charging up in between horses, and Maiden Beauty, the first-timer, is gonna win the Lynbrook. And another first-timer was second, as Toss Up was second best under the wire to Midnight's All Right, and She's Trouble in 1:13.41.
Maiden Beauty, first time out, Maiden Breaker at 22-1, the biggest price on the board in the Lynbrook.
Well, that's the thing about these baby races. You never know what they're capable of. It looks like even Gary's finding it hard to catch his breath right now.
Yeah, Gary Contessa, winning trainer here, very happy with his performance.
Well, we were looking for a first-time starter to win the race, and the 8 looked like he was making that move, or she was, but it was Maiden Beauty, the daughter of Revolutionary. A lot of people forget, Revolutionary was third in the slop on Kentucky Derby Day, and she is going to just get the job done. It looked like She's Trouble had her measure, but she sort of stalled in the middle of the racetrack as the 3's just going to go on by, and this is going to spice everything up exotic-wise.
She did, but Maiden Beauty actually managed to save a bit more ground, whereas the 7, She's Trouble, she did have to go very, very wide. And maybe, I know she flattened out, but you brought up a point. The 2, Icy Lady, got into some trouble on the rail.
Yeah, she was pinned down the rail, and Castellano was waiting for some room. He just couldn't find any at all. Take nothing away. Joel Rosario, 22-1. And like I said, there goes the pick 5 now. Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be outstanding with that result. Maiden Beauty, Maiden Breaker in the debut for Gary Contessa. Pines Stables with Joel Rosario. We're going to take a break, take a look at some other intriguing 2-year-old, perhaps future stars. La Fuerza looked every bit the parts of a 2-to-5 shot in the Rockville Center with that 4.5 length win. We'll take a look at it when we come back.
And they're off in New York, the premier state bred program in the United States. When you own a New York bred, your horse can run for more than $44 million in purses restricted to registered New York breds. And the New York program pays awards to breeders, owners, and stallion owners when their New York breds finish 1st, 2nd, or 3rd at New York tracks. We have the quality. Audible, no doubt about it. You have the opportunity. New York breds, get with the program. The best program.
Back on Belmont Park Live, soon though, heading upstate to Saratoga, opening day, July 20th, and we're thinking about this, renting out that lake house and having all of us stay in there together and just keep a camera on 24/7.
Does it come with a pontoon boat?
It does.
Okay, I'm in.
You're in?
Yep.
Paulie?
I'm in, as long as Naira checks off on it.
I'll see what I can do to make that happen.
Okay, thank you.
Opening day, Friday, July 20th. We cannot wait. I got to make a trip up to Saratoga Lake.
Beautiful.
Some good spots,
You
some
can
good restaurants too.
Paddleboard too.
That's true. A lot to do up there besides just tremendous racing. Gary Contessa, Maiden Beauty, the first-time starter. The other one, toss-up was taking all the money, but it's Maiden Beauty who gets the wins, the biggest price on the board here in the Lynbrook.
Yeah, Philly by Revolutionary. Eddington mare, Alpha Charlie. Wow. And there goes that pick 3, $247 to start your Naira late pick 5.
Joel Rosario aboard for the winning ride. The other first-timer running second. Midnight's All Right completes the trifecta. Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
And the aptly named Maiden Beauty, she was a beauty and breaking her maiden, Gary, here in today's Lynbrook Stakes. Were you expecting this?
Well, she trained really well. Yesterday we ran a horse called Red Zinger. He had a really green trip and ran 3rd, and she's been beating him up pretty good. So I knew she was a hair better than him, so I thought we had a shot. I told that to Joel yesterday. I said, the filly we run today has got a shot. She's a little better than that colt yesterday.
And it has to give you a little bit of confidence, obviously, securing Joel Rosario for the ride.
Absolutely. He happened to be available, and it's a great advantage to have him.
And you were saying that this ownership group, this is the first horse they've ever owned, and they win a stake in their first start.
They sent me to Ocala, said buy us 2 2-year-olds. They've never owned a racehorse ever, and they win a stake with their first start. So what do I do next? I don't know. I could be in big trouble.
You may have found a diamond in the rough, too. Yeah. It's not like she had a flashy work or anything, but she moved well at the OBS sale.
I mean, she did. She went through, she was a buyback for $35,000. I offered him 30, and we ended up at 40 2 days later. But I love the way she moved, and I like the sire, so it worked out well.
Gary, congratulations. Well prepared in Maiden Beauty.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys.
Maggie, thanks. So, yeah, what do you do next? How about get aggressive, wheel it right back into Schuylerville?
Why not?
Short rest, to say the least.
That's right around the corner. What a win there for Gary Contessa. Well done. Crowded winner's circle. And that's a $100,000 stakes win victory.
Yeah, the more you look at the pedigree, you start looking, and I always like to look at why. And there you see the pick 5 follow along, a couple favorites, or favorite, and then second choice, and then the bomb. Maiden Beauty is a revolutionary, like we talked about. Look who the sire of revolutionary is, Warpath. What was his best day? A rainy day at Monmouth when he won the juvenile by a pole. So revolutionary and Warpath is obviously some slop breeding on top. A great job by Gary Contessa to get that horse ready.
So that Naira Bets Late Pick 5 promo, you gotta be in it. Take advantage. It's gonna pay monstrous this afternoon. It's a mandatory payout day as well. Last day of the meet. Race 8, let's set it up. 7 furlongs on the turf. New York bred entry level allowance. Spring Folly, that tough beat last time out. And the horse that beat her would actually come back and run third against Bengalin's Silver Shaker in her next start.
Yeah, the thing about her, too, though, is she is sitting atop back-to-back second-place performances, but that has been going a mile and an eighth and a mile and a 16th. She very well could just want to cut back to the 7 furlongs where she actually has a victory.
Yeah, you make a good point. With the 4 and 5 out of here, there's just no pace in this race. I don't know where it's going to come from besides maybe the 3 with the blinkers going on. And the 1 and the 2 are by far the best horses in this race when it comes to numbers-wise. But they're cutting back in distance, and they could be last and second to last, but they're going to be rolling late.
Well, we just saw an impressive first-time out effort from Maiden Beauty in the Lynbrook. We have some important 2-year-old races right around the corner at Saratoga as well, right, Maggie?
That is right, and one that you might see, maybe not first in that first segment of 2-year-old races, was La Fuerza, who was really impressive, and the male counterpart to this Lynbrook, the Rockville Center, yesterday. Bit of a drama-filled race, but none of that drama revolved around La Fuerza, who was utterly professional once again. Still didn't break that cleanly, but once he got by his competition, he inhaled them. This looks like a horse who could easily handle open company at this point in his 2-year-old campaign. Now, maybe he will face some horses that emerge out of the Sanford, and one heading to the Sanford and only a second start is the Mark Casse trainee in Dreammaker. Guys, this horse was really impressive in breaking his maiden at Churchill Downs a month ago, in that he did the same thing as La Fuerza. He did not get away that cleanly, sat behind a wall of horses, swung very wide, and just galloped by them. I think Dreammaker looks as though he's a very impressive and promising horse that he could be one of the favorites going towards that Sanford. Obviously, Steve Asmussen, Todd Pletcher, Wesley Ward, they'll have something to say about that, but it looks as though the Casse barn might be loaded with some pretty nice 2-year-olds, as we will also highlight some of the fillies as well, as our opening day stake is the Schuylerville Grade 3 for those 2-year-old fillies. And we'll see one coming up from Maryland. That's Congrats Girl, who I thought handled the field with great ease at first, asking for Cathal Lynch, who has come up here to New York and won one of our 2-year-old stakes, the Tremont. He knows how to get them ready, and looks as though Congrats Gal, she's one that might be on the on and up as she heads into the Schuylerville, but she'll have to face some horses who have faced stakes company coming out of the Astoria. That includes Lady Apple, who got a beautiful trip down on the rail for trainer Steve Asmussen, and then Eye in the Sky. We'll see if she comes back here for Mark Casse, but she was one that came in with a lot of hype, was bet strongly and really kind of had the worst of it. I thought she was chasing, and then she had to swing very wide and just never was really able to lay her head down and really extend herself. So I'm hoping if she runs in the Schuylerville, we'll see a truer effort from her of what she's really, truly capable of. But guys, we see some great performances from all the 2-year-olds in the maiden races and in the stakes up there. I am so excited to get up to Saratoga for these babies.
Such a big part of what Saratoga is all about, the unveiling of these 2-year-olds, La Fuerza, who Maggie touched upon there with that stakes win in the Rockville Center. Likely going to get a shot in the Saratoga Special on August 12th. Saratoga tickets on sale now. Reserve your seat in the Grand Standard Clubhouse for Saratoga's biggest events. Be one of the first to sit in the all-new exclusive area of the Stretch. Make Saratoga Racecourse your summer place. Get your tickets at NYRA.com/Saratoga. We are packing up and heading out. 1 hour left in our Belmont meet. And then it's upstate to Saratoga. Friday, July 20th, opening day. There's Paul's wardrobe. Took its own truck.
That's just my ties.
Okay. We'll be back.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include 4-time graded stakes winner Miss Sky Warrior, 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, multiple stakes winner Bal Harbor, and Dubai Group 3 winner Shamal Nibras. Last year, his 2-year-old sold up to $540,000, while his yearlings fetched up to a whopping $575,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NYRA Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
You're watching Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus Prime Ticket and Fox Sports San Diego. Thanks for being with us on the closing day of the meet here at Belmont Park. Spring Folly. Coming up in our featured 8th race ahead. Ran too good to lose last time out. Looked like she was home free and then just got nailed at the wire. She'll be coming up in the 8th, trying to break through that first allowance condition for New York Breds. Greg Wolf, Paul LaDuca, Gabby Gaudette, Maggie Wolfendale with us here as well on this 8th race. An intriguing spot for Spring Folly. Can she break through today?
Well, I think she's obviously the filly to beat in here. There's not a lot of pace in here, but if you look back to some of her races earlier in her career, she did show a little bit of speed, and then they started stretching her out to 1 1/8 or so. Now she's got to cut back to 7 furlongs. She has to show some of that speed because there is no pace in her. That's the reason why Frosty Gal, what you're looking on your screen, is 3-1.
Yeah, and I was surprised, but she does look to be maybe the speed of the race with the defects of the 4 and the 5. But to me, at least on paper, I think it looks like a 2-horse race between the 1 and the 2.
It really does. I mean, Forever Daisy is taking money, the 3, and I think it's just because of the Jose Ortiz factor. The horse did make a middle move at Aqueduct. Has run okay race, one okay race on the turf, but not much.
There's Spring Folly. Gets saddled up here shortly. Let's take a look at that tough beat last time out. It was on June 24th And again, would get nailed by Purely Lucky right at the wire. At this point, looks like she's taken off and home free.
Yeah, listen, the other horse had drafted off all 3 horses, the 3 inside horses. She had the overland route, so she got sort of shake and baked, Ricky Bobbied right here, and the one went right by her.
How does she lose?
Oh,
How does
I
she
know.
lose this race?
I know.
But
I don't think she
playing
was stopping,
devil's
though.
advocate, it was 9 furlongs, and I think that might be a little bit out of her realm.
That's a great point. Listen, she has a little bit of second-itis, but that was a winning race.
Well, on board today, it's going to be a jockey switch. The man atop the standings will be on board. Irad Ortiz Jr. collected his 60th win of this meeting just the other day, and he has run away with the Belmont Park jockey title. So congratulations to him. His younger brother, Jose, tied there in second with 49, and we're going to see probably both those 2 names very likely 1-2 at Saratoga as well.
I don't want to underplay this. I really think that Manny Franco had a tremendous meet. Considering the mounts he was on, I think he really overachieved.
Yeah, and the other one was David Cohen. I thought David rode very, very well here.
Meanwhile, there's a look at Peril, and Manny Franco will be aboard this one, daughter of Go Sapper, for Christophe Clement. Let's go back to the beginning here. Gets squeezed here early on in the race and has to drop back. And it looks like, okay, today is not going to be the day, career start number 3, to get the maiden breaking wing. But then all of a sudden, with Joe Bravo aboard, makes a huge run and does so going impossibly wide around the turn.
She looked like she had a propeller on her somehow. I mean, this was a crazy performance considering the start. You see her try to make that wide move. She takes an overland route, as you were mentioning, Greg. And this is not an easy thing to do, especially with a lightly raced filly.
Looks like she doesn't even corner.
She is. She is. I don't think she handled the turn very well. As you can see, the rail is way far out, too. So the fact that she was capable of doing this, I'd say this is a big step forward. And not only that, the pace held together. So not only did she have this huge trip, the pace held. So she did not need to win this race.
It was a crazy race, and Joe did a good job. She almost spun her wheels. I like how game she got late because the other filly on the inside challenged her. And then Joe had to get busy on her again, and then she gave a little bit more. That was really tough to do, to go that wide and get the job done, but the blinkers did help.
Trained by Christophe Clement. He's had a tremendous closing to this meet. He had Epping Forest win the other day. Obviously a tough beat with Disco Partner, but right there in second, just ahead of Rudy Rodriguez, and Chad Brown collects another meet title.
Wow, 13 clear. I don't know if he'll be that much clearer. Mr. Pletcher will probably have something to say when it comes up to this upcoming Friday, but Chad Brown is starting to take control, isn't he?
He certainly is. Of course, Christophe, these last couple of weeks, has been loaded here at Belmont Park. Let's head downstairs for a paddock report. Checking again with Maggie Wolfendale. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000.
Taking a look at the inside runner here in today's 8th race, it will be number 1, Spring Folly, who is a turn back in here. And I actually like this for her. I know maybe her races this year would suggest that the longer she goes, the better, but I just think it's a matter of her getting more fit, because last year her best 2 races of her entire career did come at this 7 furlong distance. She is that physical type. She looks more like a sprinter overall. She's actually held herself together pretty nicely. As you saw, she's saddled in the back. That is typical of her because she does have a bit of a edge to her where she gets a little too revved up. But I like what I'm seeing from Spring Folly today. And I usually don't like her, but I like her today given the distance of ground. Moving on to number 2, Peril, coming off the back of a maiden score. And as you guys were talking about, she did get pinched back that day. But I think she's a filly that does have a little bit more natural speed and should be closer than what we saw in that last effort. She is fairly keen in the paddock here as well, and just looks really, really fit for trainer Christophe Clement. And then number 6 is Frosty Gal, who may very well work out to be one of the pace factors in here. We'll see, because she is very sharp, or I shouldn't say very sharp, she's just very much on the muscle, and I like that with horses that could be forwardly placed in here. And this is only her third turf start. She hasn't run that well on it in her prior efforts, but maybe something will wake her up here today. She does have the proverbial turf hoof, so I wouldn't be surprised if she can find this course okay to her liking, but it is softer. So I feel as though you always have to have that caveat of, well, it is a bit softer than what you would normally see. So are they really truly going to appreciate it, Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. Connections of Frosty Gal, Barkley Tag, talking things over. John Velasquez will be aboard for him, the Hall of Fame rider. It's 3-1 on Frosty Gal. We'll be back with the post parade right after this.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With Naira Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Naira Bets, racing's best play.
Back on Belmont Park Live on closing day of the meet before we head upstate to Saratoga. And post parade coming up here for race 8. 7 furlongs on the turf. New York breds in this first allowance condition. We're going to see Spring Folly first. She's now 4-5. Heavy favorite on the board from Michael Dickinson. Daughter of Spring at Last. We showed you just missed last time out at 1 1/8. Now shortens up.
4-5. She's faced similar company in the past few races, but I actually thought that this race came up a little bit easier than what she's been facing.
Such an impressive maiden score for Peril last out for Christophe Clement. Manny Franco takes over.
Yeah, needs to get it out of the gate a little bit better, but she shows that same talent. She'll be right there at the wire.
David Donk sends out Forever Daisy equipment change, blinkers on.
Very flat last time out, but with the blinkers on, could she actually show a little bit more speed?
Frosty Gal, Barkley Tag. We saw him talking to John Velasquez in the paddock. This for Saratoga Stable.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the horse is 0-10 in the last 2 years, and the one turf start didn't show speed, and I'm thinking the public thinks she's going to show speed, so maybe Gabby has it right that The 3 is the one.
Funny side connections there with the 6. The 7, Puppery, Edmund Pringle, and Dalton Brown.
Dropped in class last out. Couldn't get the W. Now steps back up in class.
And birthday gift on the outside for Patrick Kelly. I thought this horse interesting. That debut beat Creasy, who we saw come back and run a good one here.
All I wanted was a $2 win ticket on that day. 89 to 1 she won in her debut.
13 to 1 today with Eric Consell aboard. Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
And checking in with the filly, that is wearing blinkers. That is Forever Daisy in here. Now, she does have a fairly full cup blinker. As Gabby said, she was a bit flat in her last race. So hopefully those wake her up a little bit. I don't know. I think the jury's still out on how talented this filly actually is. One that I'm a little intrigued by is number 8 in here, Birthday Gift, who sits at 13 to 1 right now. This is a pretty significant rider change. No offense to her previous rider, but Eric Consell just has a lot more success. And I didn't mind the way she looked physically last time, and I certainly don't mind here again today, as she's now second off the layoff and probably more fit overall. So I think that rider change could move Birthday Gift up just a bit. Greg?
So 13 to 1, and perhaps you could just go ahead and put a line through that last start. Needed it for sure. We hadn't seen her since November 22nd, so a long time off. Second off the bench, that much sharper, and a rider change, as Maggie talks about. Meanwhile, back to Barkley Tags filly, daughter of Frost Giant here, Frosty Gal, with John Velasquez aboard.
Yeah, you brought up the point, Paul, that maybe people are backing her here today because she does look like potentially the main speed, as she's shown she could be quick on the main track. The thing about her, she hasn't shown speed on the turf in her previous turf tries, and she doesn't have a turf pedigree to suggest she'll like the surface today. So a lot of the time we see that not be the case, where horses that don't like the surface, they don't translate that speed.
No, that's true. And here's the thing. She's never gotten to the front end on the dirt. I mean, she's really hasn't really shown a ton of speed on the dirt. I mean, she's got 1 win. There's not much in her. I understand the 4 and 5 are scratched, and she's taking the money because there's just no other pace in her besides the 3 putting the blinkers on. That horse did wire a field when she did break her maiden, and then she came back to obviously lose at 45 cents on the dollar. It's not a ringing endorsement, but you do get Jose Ortiz, and she might be the one to catch.
Yeah, she was just too flat, I thought, last time out. And now with a little bit more distance to 7-8, she's getting a good warm-up on track. Jose's in the saddle. Blinkers go on. Not a lot of pace. In these types of races, Paul, in paceless races, I always look to jockeys sometimes, and aggressive jockeys. Paceless races, I always pick Javier Castellano. Unfortunately, he's not in here. But Jose, we can obviously see be pretty aggressive, too.
What did he do with the 1? Does the 1 get pushed, Greg?
Get signed up, started. If you want to bet the 1, 3 to 5 right now. $200 new member sign-up bonus. Use the promo code LIVE to take advantage. Go to NYRABETS.com. Play along from home. Final 2 races of this Belmont Park meeting coming up.
Here's a scenario.
Shortening up, I think, definitely helps.
She's quick enough to be like first or second, no, Gab?
Yeah. IRAD's on her. She's on the rail. She clearly, Michael Dickinson has seen her form. You know, she just doesn't follow through that much in order to pass horses. So why not just try to take the advantage?
Yeah, I mean, look, her internal fractions at Belmont, she ran her second race 109.4. There's not a horse in here that can come within 20 lengths of 109.4. That's why they're going. I mean, I don't see that happening. I just don't. So that's what makes the 1 so scary. But then you look and you're like, she doesn't like to win races. But then you start looking, wow, she was 109.4, 121. I don't care how fast it was. I know there's give, but you look at the rest of the horses in here and you're looking at not fast horses, and people are guesstimating big time with the 6 at 4 to 1.
Another look here at Peril with that impressive maiden score last time out, and we don't know what she's capable of with a clean trip.
Greg brings up that point that any of the 1, 2, and 3 I could see being on the lead or forwardly placed in here. Just given their trips, given the dynamics of this race, who knows?
And especially the 3 with blinkers going on.
No, that's true. And here's the thing about the 2. The 2 just got squeezed out of it, but they put blinkers on the 2 who showed speed the time before that. So the 2 could show speed today. Gabby's right.
7 to 2 on Peril, but would you ever have, even with the scratches, thought Spring Folly deserved to be 3 to 5 in here?
No, because I thought that the 1 and 2 would be hanging a little bit more similarly.
Same here, but I'll tell you what, the horses 1 to 5 in the Will Pays in the pick 3s and pick 4s. I mean, in doubles, excuse me.
Some respect for Michael Dickinson. Spring Folly the 1 with Irad Ortiz Jr. taking over for Kendrick Carmouche from the rail. Very short price here in the 8th. Let's send it upstairs for the call. Here's the voice of New York Racing, Larry Colmus.
Last one to come up here is Birthday Gift under Eric Consell, taking the outside stall. Birthday Gift goes in, and they're all in line. They're off. Birthday Gift and Puppery both came out quickly with Forever Daisy on their inside. They're out for the lead together. And then Peril, who's away running in 4th position, followed by Frosty Gal, while the favorite will race later here. Spring Folly is at the rear of the field and is 9 lengths from the front. Up the backstretch they go. And it is Birthday Gift and Puppery, and a very hard-held Forever Daisy tracks them from 3rd through a 23.94 quarter. And then it's Peril and Frosty Gal, and an unhurried Spring Folly is 9 from the front as Puppery leads them along by a length. Birthday Gift is 2nd, racing for the far turn. Forever Daisy continues to race 3rd and edges up closer now while still going well in hand. And then comes Frosty Gal on the outside of Peril, while Spring Folly continues to race at the back, now 6 off the lead after a 47.61 half mile. Puppery, Birthday Gift, Forever Daisy comes up to them 3 wide. Behind the leaders are Peril, Frosty Gal, and Spring Folly's going to swing up on the far outside. She's got 4 lengths to make up, and she's going to try to close down the center of the course. And here she comes. In the meanwhile, Frosty Gal has taken the lead. Spring Folly bears down on the outside. And then it's Forever Daisy and Peril. But it is Frosty Gal who's still there over Spring Folly. And Frosty Gal's going to beat her. Frosty Gal and John Velasquez to score. Spring Folly 2nd. Then it was Peril and Forever Daisy in 125.6.
Frosty Gal, just the 3rd try on the turf. The 2 prior starts, she didn't hit the board. Barkley Tag, John Velasquez, Saratoga Stable get the win.
I'm speechless. Frost Giant, the sires, won for his last 100 and something on the turf. And this horse gets on the turf for the 3rd time and destroyed this field. Completely wrong. I was completely wrong because no doubt about the winner. And the public was right. They bet this horse.
Well, we were kind of right that she wouldn't be on the lead, right? She did take back and sat a very patient trip from off of the pace. I did not predict a race like this, given her pedigree, given her previous experiences on the turf. But always happy to see Barkley Tag in the winner's circle. At least I am.
Yeah, I am too. It's good for Barkley. I'm a little surprised to have a 2 to 5 shot dead last.
2 to 5, yeah, is what Spring Folly got bet down to. That's crazy. And she was so far back early. We were just talking before the gates open, we might see her in front.
I don't know. And it wasn't that fast of a pace, so I don't know why she just got completely lost back there. The 2 Peril, she had a good trip. She just kind of looked like she was spinning her wheels a bit.
I mean, I know there's give in the ground, but she was 10 to 15 lengths out of a 112 and 4. She was going 115 for 6 furlongs.
Frosty Gal had not shown a real affinity for the turf in 2 prior starts, but this was impressive. Gets the win. John Velasquez again, Barkley Tag, and your funny side connection, Saratoga Stable with the win here, 5 to 1. Picture time for Barkley and company. We'll be back.
Switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole, but Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. He has won the Travers over American Flag.
Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial.
Alice.
Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it as the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
That's Michael's assistant. The agony of defeat.
Probably thought it was a mortal lock today at 3-5.
Should have never been that price. That was ridiculous.
I understand, but listen, when you're 2-5, you cannot be 25 lengths out of the race. God. Huh?
Back on Belmont Park Live, Frosty Gal getting the job done here in race 8. Going back to the turf for Barkley Tag, Saratoga Stable with John Velasquez aboard.
Yeah, filly by Frostshine. Now the jumpstart mare, Nick's Honor, like you said, Saratoga Stable, and Johnny V. Got to be the key. Second time he's been aboard this filly. And I'll tell you right now, if you're live in this Naira Late Pick 5 or anything, you got to give it all away. Don't forget, this is giveaway too, and there's only 2 horses paying out in the Pick 6 as well.
Monster numbers. We'll run them down in a moment. Right now, we're going to send it downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Here in the winner's circle with winning trainer Barkley Tag with Frosty Gal. And Bark, she's a horse that had 2 tries on the turf before. Took a little hiatus from it. What did the trick today, getting back to it?
Well, I don't really know. Maybe she liked it because it was very, very soft or something like that, but she's a very sound filly anyway. And she always ran the same kind of race no matter what surface she was on. So, you know, we got lost on the dirt for a long while there again. We tried it out and put Johnny on her, and Johnny rode her beautifully. That's why he's a leading money-winning rider in the world, I think, isn't he?
You're exactly right about that. Always helps when you have Johnny in the saddle. But Barkley, we make the trek up to Saratoga, and you've had some pretty nice Saratoga years in the past couple. Any horses that we can look forward to?
Well, I've got a couple I like, you know.
Highland Rio?
Yeah, Highland Sky. He's going to run in the stake next week. What's it called?
Oh, gosh. Now you're putting me on the spot. I only know the first 3, Bark. I can't look beyond the
Bowling Green. Yeah, Bowling Green. It looks like a good spot for him. It's a good distance for him. And I've always wanted to run him a little further than we've been running him. And you know, we couldn't really make up our minds, but we ran him in an allowance race the last time at this distance, and he finally got up and won a race. So we thought we'd put him in this one the same way. So.
Well, looking forward to him up at Saratoga. Looking forward to the rest of your charge as well. Congratulations, though, to send off the Belmont Summer Meet.
Yeah, that was good. We're very happy with it, I'll tell you.
All right, always good to catch up here with Barkley Tag, guys.
Great to get a little momentum, certainly, before you head up to Saratoga, where things just get ultra competitive as we take a look at the Naira Bets Late Pick 5 follow along. These Will Pays are sensational. The 6 right now is the favorite. 13,398 to the 6. Who else is taking money? The 10. 8,373 to the 10.
Yeah, there's a 4 out of 5 actually to the 3. 1 4 out of 5, 1,400, and then the 2, 9,500. And I always like to read the high one. You have the 5, 66,000, and get it home.
And by the way, in the pick 6, it's a mandatory payout day. Only 2 horses. Everybody hits. 5 of 6 paying to everything else.
2 and 10, right?
Yep. Pretty incredible. That's why mandatory payout day is. You want to get involved. Things like that can happen. You don't have to be right in every race often.
No, and look at these payouts. Not easy to have today.
Even the pick 4s, the least you can do is like $1,000. Yeah.
Yesterday in stakes action, we had the Forbidden Apple and Voodoo Dancer doing his thing again on the front end. He just keeps getting better and better as he keeps taking on better company. Got to the front, and the fractions he got, he's going to be hard to run down when that happens.
Yeah, listen, we saw this horse win 4 races in Saratoga in much faster style where he would go to the front. He's learned to sort of rate a tiny bit. He got away with just stealing this race, and Manuel Franco with the pump at the end because he knew he gave this horse a great ride.
That's the thing, though. This horse is so versatile, but I thought this was really impressive,
yeah,
especially that he has the steam going into Saratoga, a track that he's arguably better at.
Yeah.
1:31.3, the final time. Maggie Wolfendale caught up with Linda Rice on Voodoo, getting fractions to his liking.
I know you had to be licking your chops when the half went up in 46 and change.
Yes, I mean, the last couple races, they've gone a half in 44 and change, and, you know, he was really gritty to keep on running at the end of it. But today, when the first quarter's 23-2, 46 for the half, when I saw that half mile, I said, you know, we could win this thing. And so that was thrilling.
I thought you just galloped like you did. And talk about this horse's heart and his will to win.
You know, he's got tremendous heart. I mean, Barry bred this horse, Barry and Cheryl Swartz, and actually, I'm getting his full brother here this week, 2-year-old, so I'm excited about that. But he's just been such a delight. But he did set the bar pretty high last year, winning 4 at Saratoga, so I don't know what we're going to do to improve, but he's coming into Saratoga in good form.
Now those Silks of Barry Schwartz, they swept the stakes on Saturday at Belmont, and now we could see Voodoo Song 4-star Dave on August the 11th, potentially, and perhaps even the West Point for New York breds on August the 24th. As for opening weekend, Grade 3 Lake George for 3-year-old fillies on the turf, and the Schuylerville for 2-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs on that Friday, July 20th. Of course, the Diana, where Chad Brown's going to be loaded, Sister Charlie. Looking at that race, along with a Raving Beauty. 3-year-old fillies. This showdown was thought to be later in the year. We're going to see it in the cotillion. Instead, it is going down on Sunday in the Coaching Club American Oaks. Midnight Bisou, Monomoy Girl, they are going head-to-head.
How lucky can we get, huh? I mean, this is going to be an incredible matchup. This is obviously Monomoy Girl, an impressive victory, but both Monomoy Girl and Midnight Bisou clocked in works this morning and prep for the Coaching Club American Oaks. Both of them look like they are on the right track.
Yeah, they really do. And you're wondering, no pun intended, because you see Wonder Godot, whether she's going to end up there or not. It'd be the massive threesome would be pretty awesome. But Midnight Bisou, you're wondering if she's made up a couple lengths or not on right now who the champion 3-year-old filly is, and that is a Monomoy Girl. She's going to have to knock her off.
Well, Midnight Bisou, she had that troubled trip. She almost had no chance to win in that Kentucky Oaks. She was doing so good. They actually wanted to wait for the Alabama. Mm-hmm. Doing so good, they said, we got to go ahead and run her. So she is lining up on Sunday. As for Wonder Godot, you brought her up, the Queen's Plate winner. Mark Cassidy says 90% chance she is actually going to go in the Prince of Wales Stakes, that second leg of the Canadian Triple Crown after winning the Queen's Plate, the first leg. And then likely we will see her in the Alabama, but he will have Geo Game lining up in that race.
But think about the Alabama. We could see maybe Midnight Bisou, Monomoy Girl, Wonder Godot, and maybe even Talk Vuv to Me, who was an impressive winner yesterday in Indiana for Rudolph Brissett.
Wow. Like I said, listen, the depth of the 3-year-old fillies and the older fillies is unreal.
As for the Diana, first grade 1 of the meets, mile and 1/8 on the turf. A Raving Beauty, Sister Charlie, possibly New Money Honey, all for Chad Brown. He looks pretty strong in this race. He's won it each of the last 2 years.
I see Brown a lot, everywhere. Now, Raving Beauty, she's obviously been incredibly impressive. She obviously took down foes in the Grade 3 Bouquet and then followed that up in the Grade 1 Just a Game. She looks like she's got a bright future, and, you know, she's got positional speed, and that's something that's definitely useful in a short field.
Yeah, it is. You know, a lot of Chad's horses are more horses that sit way back and they circle the field. She's a little bit different than a lot of his horses. She does, like she said, has positional speed, so she sort of makes her own race. She's going to be the one to beat in there for sure.
Yeah, well, Sister Charlie, too. She should have won last time.
Yeah,
she had a really tough trip.
Yeah.
What can Brown do in the Diana? Just wins it each and every year, it seems like. Final race of the spring meet coming up before we head to Saratoga and Broadway Street. We cannot wait. It's coming up on Friday, opening day, but we got some unfinished business here in Elmont first. The finale coming up.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including 2017 Eclipse champion 3-year-old West Coast. A dominant winner of the Grade 1 Travers and Pennsylvania Derby, West Coast also placed in the Breeders' Cup Classic and was runner-up in the $16 million Pegasus World Cup. In the sales ring, juveniles by Flatter brought up to $600,000, and his yearlings sold up to $460,000. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off at Saratoga. They're off at Saratoga.
Have you ever had a horse finish a race with 5 shoes?
Slow learner, but his last time from the gate was very, very quick. Let's try to put him in the race in some way, shape, or form. Sit and see if we can't make a run in this group.
It's Jose Ortiz again. Wow, what a day. A 5-win day, and what a ride in the nightcap on Tusk.
And this is the story of us. Astronomy matters in some way to each and every one of us here, and every single second of this day, we were able to be a part of it. That's pretty darn special, to say the least.
West Coast goes wire to wire in the Travers. Song's gonna win it and win it clear under the wire. Voodoo Song holds on. Voodoo Song to win it by a length and a half. Here comes the wire. Voodoo Song loves the spa. He won the Saranac. Lady Eli winning the Boston Spa. What a heroine she is. Quick is faster than them all. In the Woodward. He won it by 8 lengths over Rally Crying and Neolithic in a final time of 1 minute 47.43 seconds.
And Saratoga 2018 is just a few days away. A little bit of a break for horse players out here before Friday's opening day, which will be madness. And we're going to be there all meet long, and we hope you join us. Del Mar opening day, where the turf meets the surf, coming up on Wednesday. Bet at least $50 on the opening day of the card at Del Mar on the Naira bets. It's split 1 million points, win or lose. It's equal to $1,000. Visit NairaBets.com for all the details. Time for a paddock report. for the last race of this Belmont Park meeting. Let's send it downstairs. Maggie Wolfendale, sponsored by Hillendale Farm, now standing, curling for $150,000.
Greg, that was one of the more ominous tosses that you've given me. Oh, it is a little heavy, too, that this is the last race that we will be talking about this year in the summer at Belmont Park. As we'll start things off here on my end, taking a look at 3 horses who are switching surfaces to the main track. In number 6, Laura's Posse for Gary Gullo. Now, I've never liked posies necessarily on the turf, so this surface seems to be the right one for a horse who is also a half to Jewel Ken Disco, who's a pretty fast dirt sprinter. Yes, there's some turf in the pedigree as well, but with that posse on top, I think this is a much more likely successful type of surface for him. Now, as far as fitness, I'm still not quite sure if he's totally fit in only his second start of his career. He's a big, good-looking type, given the rest of the field here, but still, is fitness going to be a limiter for Laura's Posse? Moving on to number 3, Blue Skies Forever might be a bit of a price in here, and another one that I think has a little bit more of a dirt pedigree anyway. Obviously, never the greatest sign when they do have a dirt pedigree and debuted on the turf. Usually means they can't lift a hoof on the main track, but still want to give this guy a look here because he's kind of in the same breath as Laura's Posse in that he's a bigger, good-looking type. This is a much better surface for him. Still wondering if fitness is going to be an issue, but as a long shot, he's one that is intriguing here for Jimmy Ferraro. And then probably the best-looking horse just from the overall standpoint of things is number 7, Con who only has one eye. He's actually missing his right eye here. And he just looks really well conditioned. He is one, though, that has a little bit more of a turf look to him, but still, at this level, he might be okay. He just looks as though he's doing well relative to the rest in here. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thanks. This finale here, there are a lot of ways to go in this race. It is not an easy one for handicappers to get a little momentum going into Saratoga.
This is true. I'm surprised that the 2 is one of the horses paying out in 3-1, and I'll give you my case against that horse. You know, they put blinkers on the horse to put the horse on the turf. Now, this is a race that was not scheduled for turf. And an off-the-turf event on the slop was 3.5 to 1 and was 3rd in a 6-horse field. Now, why would I want to back that horse that was scheduled for turf when all these other horses are dirt horses?
Yep. I mean, I just think that there's so many ways to go, and you're not standing on solid ground with anyone in particular.
True.
But I hear you on all those points on the 2 Raging Fire.
It's just there's nothing to go on in a lot of these horses, so you're projecting a lot. Laura's Posse ran a 0 buyer last time, and she's 3-1. But she can win this race.
Again, you see the odds there on the bottom of your screen. Pick 6, forget the carryover. It's a mandatory payout day, last day of the meet. So even if it was 5 of 6, paying out. The only ones that are hittable here, the 2 and the 10, everything else pays to 5 of 6.
Yeah, and 4 to 5, if you're live in the pick 5 to the 3. Oh. Everything else, wow. Balloons, pick 4s, very, very lucrative as well. So make sure you check your Naira Bet account. And maybe there'll be some Skrilla in there when you check it.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm counting on this, too. If you had a tough Belmont meet, things can be totally different at Saratoga, right?
That's the spirit, Greg.
That a boy, Greg.
Don't say it like, yeah, oh, good for you, little guy. It can happen. Like, it's a real thing, right? It's a different track.
Exactly. You're the father that's going to tell his son when they lose 19-0 in baseball, you know what? You guys stunk today. You lost 19-0. Tell him the truth, Greg.
Trini Juice kicks things off. It's one for Bisnath Parbu. Gelding here.
He's been running on the main track the last 9 starts. You just kind of feel like someone's got to be better than him here today.
We'll see the other part of the entry in a moment. Here's the 2 gets the rail. Raging Fire for John Kimmel.
Yeah, Raging Fire. This is one of the ones that will hit the pick 6 here at 3-1.
Manny Franco on board. Gabby's talked about his tremendous meet that he has had here at Belmont. Blue Skies Forever. Maggie made a bit of a case for this one. Debuted on turf. Says should like this going maybe a little bit better for James Ferraro.
He These types of horses are always enticing in races like this, especially when you get a price like that, because there's that unknown factor, and he definitely has the turf pedigree to back up the surface switch.
It all comes first full circle. Paul, beginning of the show, said, "Where's the barber?" Right here.
I think this horse got a shot. Got left last time, was very, very green, and Contessa already lit up the board once today, and this horse is getting played a little bit.
Blinkers on as well for the second start. That's not in the form. The 5, Big Horn Ranger for Patrick Quick.
Like the fact that he showed speed last out. It was his first race since December. Could improve second off the layoff.
Laura's Posse, the 6, 5-2 favorite.
Yeah, and Gary Gullo, good trainer, and I would think she'll show more speed, or he'll show more speed today from turf to dirt.
Conham, the 7, little rambunctious.
Trying to drop the rider there in the post parade. Calm down, little one.
Son of Congaree, yeah, a little agitated there. 2 starts both on turf for John Terranova. The 9, Mr. Skittles, 10 starts, has never hit the board.
And another one who keeps on racking up those defeats has faced similar company in the past few starts.
Latin Love Bug, John Toscano Jr. and Mike Leslie.
Yeah, I guess what, your favorite now? Well, 7-2. One of the other ones that does hit out your pick 6. 19-1 last time. Seems like he runs the same race, but that might help.
Why not this guy, the other half of the entry? Over Salty. They ran him in the Rockville Center in the second start of his career. That was last year. We haven't seen him since.
Talk about things coming full circle. Obviously, we ran the Rockville Center yesterday. He's coming in off of a hefty layoff. Didn't show much in those lone 2 races, though.
Can you please explain to me how
Gelding.
the 1A or 9-1? Please.
Gelding and 10-pound apprentice. And a big drop in
I'll
class.
buy you dinner with all of Saratoga if the 1 or 1A hit the board.
Really? Because I like the 1A.
Okay.
Deal. Let's shake on that right now.
Right now.
We are shaking hands, my friend. Finale coming up.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NyraBets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. NyraBets, racing's best play.
Welcome back to the final Belmont Park live show here on MSG Plus of the spring-summer meeting, and the final race is about to go postward here as we're dealing with the 25 maiden claimers, New York breds that is, and we still have a pretty wet and sealed track. And a lot of times when you're dealing with horses, and as far as their affinity for this, obviously you look through the form and you watch them and how they warm up and how they get over. If they have that nice spring to their step, well, it usually means that they'll run pretty good. And I saw that with the two horses that do have a little proven off-track form in number 2, Raging Fire for John Kimmel. He looks really well defined here. He's one of the better looking horses in this grouping, and he just trotted off very nicely with the pony and had that proverbial bounce. Same thing goes with number 10, Latin Lovebug, who makes sense here as well. His last race came on a muddy sealed track. He can certainly run a similar race here once again and get a piece of this, Greg.
Maggie, thank you. It is post time, about to load up for this final race of the meet. This 2 has become the favorite.
I don't see it, man.
By about $3,000.
I've been completely wrong all day, but I don't see it. But I'm just worried about the 1 or the 1A.
And I believe with a win here, Manny Franco would take over sole possession of second.
That's true. That'd be
in the
big
jockey
for him.
standings.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
Tied with Jose Ortiz.
True. Are you nervous about your pick?
I'm excited.
You are? Very?
The 1 or 1A hits the board. I get dinner paid for at the entire meet by Paulo Duca.
And I'm so confident, I don't even want anything back from you. How about that?
Thank you. Very generous.
Gabby just sitting over here shaking her head. Hashtag
What
SMH.
I have to look forward to for the rest of the summer.
Well, yeah, at least you got a week off. From
Well, I mean, look, Gabby said someone's got to, you made that comment about the 2, right? Someone's got to, like, there's not much in this race. So out of horse, you have a lot of changes. Gelded, you get a 10-pound weight break.
And I don't even
Massive
think
drop in class.
that there is an anchor to this race, right? I mean, even the horses with experience, you're not standing on much ground as we see, I believe the jockey's off the 7.
Yeah, Luis Saez on Conham.
You make a good point. Listen, the 6 ran a 0 buyer in a 7-2. I mean, that's what's telling you about this race.
There's Bighorn Ranger moving in. Truly has that feel of this could be anybody's.
Yeah.
So why not get aggressive early, too, and make them come get you?
True.
The last race of the meet. Larry Colmus with the call.
Ready for the start. They're off. Awkward beginning there for Trini Juice at the back of the pack as Laura's Posse goes out to the early lead. Opening up a length and a half from Raging Fire, who came out running in second. Conham is third on the outside. Bighorn Ranger follows in fourth, moving for the turn. Then Latin Lovebug on the outside of Over Salty, who's racing about 6 lengths off the lead and down on the rail. Mr. Skittles goes up on the far outside, a break of another 2.5 lengths more. Back to Blue Skies Forever, who's racing about 9 lengths from the front. Where's the Barber is next, and last of them all is Trini Juice. 23.27 was that opening quarter mile as Laura's Posse leads it by a length. Raging Fire on the outside is second. A length and a half to Latin Lovebug. Mr. Skittles on the outside is next. And then comes Bighorn Ranger, followed by Conham to the outside. And riding the rail is Over Salty. 47.38 was the half. Laura's Posse coming down to the 8th pole in the clear by 3. Latin Lovebug on the outside is taken second. And Raging Fire is third, followed by Mr. Skittles in fourth. But it is Laura's Posse and Joel Rosario splashing home on top in the finale. Laura's Posse under the wire, the winner by 4 to Latin Lovebug. And then came Raging Fire in fourth. Looked like it was Where's the Barber in 112.09.
Laura's Posse, 3-1, second choice, gets the win in here on the offgoing. Joel Rosario, Gary Gullo, and well cleared.
Listen, the horse took money because showed speed first time out, and this race looked like a race. Whoever got to the front end was going to be dangerous, and the 6 is going to win and go gate to wire. The 1A Over Salty, you're going to be giving me a martini over Salty for that
Last
performance.
exacta, Greg, you can't.
That apprentice rider
You got to do better than that.
nearly put that horse over the fence. 6-10, 2-4. We'll be back
And they're off in New York. The premier state-bred program in the United States. When you own a New York bred, your horse can run for more than $44 million in purses, restricted to registered New York breds. And the New York program pays awards to breeders, owners, and stallion owners when their New York breds finish first, second, or third at New York tracks. We have the quality.
Audible, no doubt about it.
You have the opportunity. New York breds, get with the program. The best program.
Turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring back here in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The three of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
Back on Belmont Park Live, Joe Rosario, a couple of wins for him on this closing day of the meet. He wins with Laura's Posse here to close things out and returns $8.70.
And this horse had a good pedigree to like the conditions of the track today. He's by Posse, who loved the mud, and he's a half to Jewel Condisco, who was a 4-time winner sprinting on the dirt.
Did we make this race too difficult?
We always do.
We always do. You know, this was a horse that was going to go to the front end. Look at the pick 6. You get 4 out of 5, pays $47. Is that right? And then 5 out of 6 pays $40. You got to pay it all right. So make sure you look in your account. There might be some money, and bam, $13,300 if you hit the pick 5. If you hit the pick 4, it's $2,400. So still great payoffs everywhere.
Got to get involved with that Naira Bets late pick 5. We're going to have it every single day of the meet as well at Saratoga. Jockey standings, Irad Ortiz Jr., your winner with 60 victories at the meet. His younger brother tied for second. Their trainer standings, Chad Brown collects a win. 34 victories. Great meets, though, from Christophe Clement and Rudy Rodriguez, and, of course, Jason Service as well.
Yeah, Jason Service has set the bar so high here and at Monmouth Park. But, I mean, he had a monster meet. But Chad Brown, that's one of many.
And remember early on in the meet how hot Wesley Ward was way back when.
Yeah.
Things can change very quickly.
Hope you enjoyed the meet. We had a lot of great moments here, and a lot of these horses that we saw that had some big performances. Going to be making some noise, we would think, at Saratoga. We're going to see Voodoo Dancer, of course, likely in the 4-star Dave. That's going to be a big test for him, taking on Grade 1 company, and then we might see him in the West Point as well. We are back on MSG Plus, Fox Sports Prime Ticket, Fox Sports San Diego, with opening day from Saratoga. That is on Friday, July 20th. That is our next show, 4 to 6:30 Eastern Time. Maiden Beauty, first time out, gets the job done in the debut in a stakes race in the Lynbrook for Gary Contessa with Joel Rosario, his other winner on the afternoon. We will see you next Friday from Saratoga.